Welcome back to Used to Sew, a podcast about sewing machines, sewing history, and sewing culture in the past and present. I am your producer and co-host, Aradia, daughter of your main host, T.R. Kelly, who is here today to talk to you about our Season 2 wrap-up. We've had quite the year over the last 38 episodes of this season of Used to Sew, from losing our mom/grandma, to building new sewing machines from baskets of parts, from history deep dives to movie reviews, always connecting the dots between the three pillars of the podcast and deepening our appreciation for this very special interest. This episode is just us talking about all that and more, and what is planned for Season 3 in 2026. We really appreciate having you with us and hope you will enjoy this end-of-year retrospective.
Yeah, well, welcome back to the final new episode for season, what are we in, season 2? Yeah, and I actually went through and cataloged all the episodes that we did in season 2.
Wow.
And I'm going to do Randy's going to show me how to do a Google Sheets thing so I can, which episodes did we talk about the 101? And then I can just go right to it. Because we're getting such a body of information now that did I already talk about that? Do I need to talk about it more? Did we get any letters saying, hey, could you expound on that a little bit more? Yeah, folks, letters. You can write to us. Don't forget, our mail has slowed down a bit. I miss y'all. Please write me a letter. Send me a Christmas card. Used to sew at gmail.com. And I did have one letter. Let's just get to this before we get into the meat of the thing. Hey, it's the most common question ever asked by sewing machine people who already have a sewing machine. Not what should I get or what's it worth, but it's making tangles on the bobbin side. Something's wrong with my bobbin. No, it's not your bobbin. Remember when we talked about the lock stitch? The top stitch goes down through the fabric. Top thread goes through the fabric with the needle, wraps around the bobbin, and then the take-up lever, twink, yanks it up tight and makes a stitch. Somewhere in your upper tension is a problem because thread on the bottom, and see, it's backwards. It's a lock stitch, right? So if you got knots on the bottom of your sewn piece, a bird's nest they often call it, or a snarl, don't mess with your bobbin. It's not the bobbin. It's the upper thread. I don't care if you've been sewing 65 years. Pull the thread off. Rethread it. Make sure it goes through the tension. Oh, there's a piece of junk stuck in the tension while I was holding your discs open and your thread couldn't get squeezed and there was your lack of tension. Make sure the thread is going through all the little guides, especially the check spring. You know, a little spring that goes boing, boing, boing. If you've got an old machine, you know what I'm talking about. If you've got a newer machine, it's buried in there somewhere. You can't see it. So, to make that short, if the bird's nest is on the bottom of the fabric, which 97% it is, your top thread tension is messed up. Rethread it, and rethread it, and rethread it. And then write me a letter and show me a picture. Okay, so that was just the tip of the day. I think 3 people have asked me that this week. I'm back over on the wet side. Never did get up enough courage to go visit with the ladies over on the east side at the sewing thing. But when I get back there next spring, once again, it'll be which machine should I take?
It'll happen eventually. I'm sure you'll achieve escape velocity one of these times.
I can actually, from the downtown home side, I can actually see the building where they meet. I didn't smell any hot irons or spray starch, but the wind might have been blowing the wrong way. Do you have any high points in your mind of stuff we talked about this year? Something that just blew you away that you didn't know?
I mean, every episode has something that trips me out. Season 2 has been going on for a long time. I believe this will be episode 39 of season 2, if I'm remembering my naming conventions correctly. Mm-hmm. So definitely this has been a much bigger season than our first one. Our first one was, short and sweet and, we learned a bunch of stuff. This has been, we're more in our groove with this season.
This is our first full year. Remember our first season, we only started in September. So this is our first. And we've put out an episode every Sunday. We've had several, rewinds and retreads as we've got other things we have to do and we haven't got our episodes bankrolled ahead of time. I'm hoping that this year we'll have so many ahead of time that we'll never miss a week, even when you and I are off partying in the woods or doing something on Sunday.
Right. Yeah. So season 2 to me is just really like, okay, we know what we're doing. We've got our groove. We're figuring it out. We're like dealing with more unexpected schedule issues. And I don't know, what have I learned the most? I mean, I just continue to really enjoy like getting more context for the 20th century. Just
the history.
broad, like every time that we get like a good chunk of like, this is like how the 20th century happened. That really makes my brain light up because I know so many other things from various other podcasts that I don't produce. I just listen to. And fitting this into that way of learning about the history of the world is definitely one of my favorite parts of the podcast in broad. And we've had several episodes that were history deep dives this season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A lot of times I've found in our history deep dive ones that the roles of women in history that we, sewing machines, why don't we hear about sewing machines? Because it was a women's thing, right? So I think by uncovering a lot of this historical stuff, we're uncovering, even when we're talking about the Singer factory or something, who worked there? Women. Who was the product for? Women. Yeah, some men sew, whatever. The majority of sewist people have always, textiles have been a women's thing. So for me, learning about the history and how did my foremothers fit into this,
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing that in season 3. Like, I definitely would love to do a deep dive into stuff like the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. It's just such a famous incident, but I want to contextualize that with what I know now about the state of sewing machines at the time. Like, I just, the history's been amazing. And I'm looking forward to so many more things about history I know about them. Like, oh, but how do women in sewing machines and other systems of like classism and racism and the changing transportation technology and what was fabric manufacturing like I know there's so many more deep dives. So I think that's been my favorite part about season 2 is be like, oh yeah, we got a real history streak here.
Oh, okay. History. I love history. I can't decide if I love the mechanical, nerdy engineering stuff more or the history stuff more, or just the near field history, like placing it into my own life, how sewing machines and textiles have impacted my life. And the more I think about our podcast and read about other things, it's just like this side of history like when we were talking about doing this podcast and you did a little searching and you said, Mom, nobody's doing anything about this. They're doing quilting podcasts or this or that or slow fashion only. But I feel like we're kind of trying to tie the whole sewing machine picture in. Like, how could you understand the United States if you didn't deep dive on automobiles? Right?
Right. Yeah, totally.
It's always been the sewing machine to me is the most impactful outside of the car, the most impactful thing in American life. Now you could say, well, now the internet. Okay, I'm old in my life, in my history, and there wouldn't be an internet if nerds couldn't buy comfortable clothes, right?
I mean, facts.
So, yeah, I'm looking back at the 2025 season, and some of our topics were Patsy Cline.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a name I knew basically nothing about except that she existed. And now I know a lot about her and how she fits into things both as an object for sewing as stuff and musically.
Yeah, like she was known for her costumes, which her mom sewed, and we did a deep dive into what machine and all that. We did the whole retail fabric fail, the end of fabric stores. That was right when Joann's was going out of business for the final time. So we talked about how that happened and why that happened. And then we talked, I think the Davis vertical feed. We did several things on the Davis this year. We even put up a cool video about it, which has got a lot of views now. It's very cool.
Oh, cool.
And then we did our field trip. Remember when we did that field trip out to Florence?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we looked at machines and bought fabric, and I found that cool 301, and that was the very same day my mom passed away. So that kind of colored our episodes for a while there. That 301 is running great. It's perfect. It's awesome. I always think about Mom in a good way when I bust it out.
Aw, excellent.
And we talked about pitfalls of repairing machines that can't be repaired. Remember the dead featherweight? Put all that effort into it, and then it was bent.
I mean, even the episode itself was cursed. That's how broken that featherweight was.
Too. And we started talking about Sears and Kenmore. We talked about Sears as a force in American retail and products, and how they allowed African Americans to sidestep Jim Crow by just ordering stuff directly from the manufacturer instead of having to deal with Bubba down at the general store.
Right. And we got reminded that there's more to get into with the guy that invented Kenmore specifically?
Yes.
Or the design dude?
There was a really cool African-American guy on their design team that came up with, I think it was the Little Mini Kenny. But that's one thing I want to preview for season 3 is we're going to do a lot more about Kenmore and White because we haven't really gotten into them yet. And they are, I think, some of the other big American machine presences. And let me just say to all my listeners in Europe, I'm sorry I don't know anything about European sewing machines. I really don't. We did a Bernina episode. We did Pfaff and Elna. But those are pretty far out of my wheelhouse. And if you request them, I will find the time and the energy and research everything and put it into fun format. And we'll get to some of those other, I want to do Viking. I want to do more on the Japanese machines. What happened to Germany in World War II. So there's lots more history with machines to do.
I mean, that's one of the fun things about getting through multiple seasons of this now is that we're starting to not run out of things that you already know, but we're starting to hit some of the gaps in your knowledge. And it's like, okay, the podcast is now demanding a specific hyper-focused deep dive in order to make this all consistently good quality.
Like I say, I use what I know, but I also use your and my research capabilities to find information and present it in kind of a fun way that you can listen to while you're sitting there cutting out quilt squares and stuff. Oh, and then on our fast fashion, that's our other pillar of what we care about here. Eliminating fast fashion. We want you to sew your own, make your own, recycle, restyle, remake kind of thing. So we did about several episodes touching on that.
Oh, I saw a really interesting post the other day I wanted to share with you.
What?
And it was someone saying that a lot of the recent repair your own clothes trendiness is all well and good if the clothes you're repairing are high quality.
Yeah.
But if the clothes you're repairing were crap to start with, then doing a cute, trendy repair on it isn't actually going to significantly increase the life of the garment because it's just going to tear where you fixed it. And I was like, oh my God, even our ability to repair our own clothes is degraded by the overall degradation of clothing manufacturing.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is so layered. There's just so many layers. Like they don't make them like they used to, right? You could repair clothing from a different era to a different degree than you can repair clothing now.
It was meant to be. What? What's the parallel with sewing machines there? No, ma'am, I can't fix that. It's not worth fixing. The machine itself is a piece of crap. You don't want to spend money. It's going to break again. It's
exactly.
This is only the first gear that broke. See this one here? It's getting ready to.
Exactly.
Right? Because, the manufacturers of this stuff, they don't want you to fix it. They want you to buy more. And that's just so true with fast fashion. Yeah, don't bother. Well, unless you're trying to do virtue signaling by, oh, look, visible mending on my Shane sweater.
Right. Yeah. It's just, as above, so below, many layers. So anyway, I just thought I saw that the other day. I was like, oh, I've got to share that with Mom on recording.
That's very, very true. Very true. I've got a friend here in Eugene who is still mending socks that she had in the 70s, for Pete's sake.
Wow. That's older than me.
They're fine wool socks, and she uses the right wool and a darning egg, and her grandma showed her how to do it. And so she's got these amazing socks, and the top still looks good, and the foot parts, the heel and the toe are so many. She doesn't care about matching colors, but there's so many different men's there. Last time I saw her 2 years ago, and she was wearing Birkenstocks and mended socks. Yes, folks, this is Oregon. And I said, whoa, look at your cool socks. So yeah, high quality wool, carrying on. I mean, she's got clothes, a lot of clothes from the 70s, because that's what she does at night. She doesn't even have a sewing machine. She sits around and mends and listens to podcasts and stuff.
Those clothes were made to a much higher quality than they are now.
Yeah. So that's where you want to go out to your thrift stores. And when you want to find good clothes, go to old people thrift stores. I'm talking the little one-offs, like the little Assistance League or Humane Society or American Cancer Society. These little thrift shops that are run by volunteers, usually in little downtown nooks or old houses or something. Those are where you find the really good old clothes, not Goodwill or St. Vinny's or any of that stuff. You know, as a general thing. Back to our topic list. My God, we did Bernadette Banner. Speaking of hand sewing and slow mending, she is a new role model for people. I mean, she's really gotten a lot of folks interested in that thing. We bought her book. It's very beautiful. Recommend it. We did one of my memorable episodes with you was where we talked about our 30 years difference of how we approached sewing in school.
Yeah, that was a trip.
That intersects with dress codes and social stuff. And we talked about needles. We talked about attachments. We talked about wiring. We talked about some of Singer's mid-century machines, the swingers and the slanters. And we got to the Imperial with its built-in clock.
It'll never not be funny.
We talked about what's it worth and what's a good first machine. And that's something I'm going to keep talking about because it's always a good thing. We talked about chain stitches. We talked about Little House on the Prairie. And we just recently talked about cases in cabinets. Wow. That was a lot of cool stuff.
Talked about bobbins. We talked about the Shelton McMurphy house. We talked about Japanese clones.
Yes, you're doing it. Okay. The Shelton McMurphy house. That was a good one, too.
Yeah, that's one that kind of lives rent-free in my head, for sure.
We got more research to do on that one we did a little research about the Gewurz special, which led us into badged machines in general, which led us to Japanese clones. So many threads of topics.
We've also teased several books that we're going to be reading and discussing currently or in the future. Like, we keep talking about books that we're acquiring and chewing on, but we haven't actually done a full book review yet. It will be coming, folks, probably in season 3.
We did a movie review, though. We did a movie review. And we're going to do another one. I'm going to do that. I'm taking that Birth of a Sewing Machine video from the Scottish Museum. I'm going to cut it down to about 15 minutes instead of an hour and 10 and do some narration with it. So we want to do that. Yeah, and there's that cool book about Japanese sewing machines and how it impacted them. That's still coming. I don't have that yet. I've got the one about communities of color. I've got several books. Yeah, there's so much stuff. So here's some topics I wrote down that I want to do in season 3. White and Kenmore, and the myth and legends of Will It Sew Leather. It's another one of those what's it worth questions that there's a zillion answers to. So will it sew leather? I want to do one about the design lines of cars, appliances, and sewing machines, especially from about the 20s to the 50s, because that's when cars and sewing machines and everything were all. And even now. And then I said I want to do the Kilbowie movie. We want to not just talk about the movie, but I want to talk about the Kilbowie plant.
Yeah.
How it was built, who worked there, why it was important, what happened to it in the Blitz of World War II. Major story there. And its eventual being torn down because it wasn't needed anymore. So the Kilbowie factory in Scotland is going to be a great episode as well. Also, the story of King Cotton. This is probably going to be a 2-parter because it encompasses the Industrial Revolution, the American slave thing, British colonization of India, and the 4 machines that made it all possible.
That might be a 3-parter. That's going to be a lot of territory to cover. I'm looking forward to that, but that's going to be a monster.
That's a big one. That's a big one. It really is. What about the sewing machine Morse? A very, very funny story of a very, very iconic, awesome, strange-looking, very powerful machine. Very short-lived. I still want to find a Morse Photomatic 4 so bad. So Morse is a funny machine story. And then what we started off with here with my threads tangling up on the bottom. I want to do a whole episode on what I like to call pilot error.
A deep dive on troubleshooting.
Yeah, but not like go read your instruction manual. Because, A, a lot of people just don't absorb information when they read it.
I am raising my hand. I am horrible at understanding like mechanical instructions from written. It's really bad.
Yeah. So I want to go through 5 or 6 of the most common pilot errors with all sewing machines. Some are more prone to certain errors than others, but that doesn't mean they're a bad machine. It's just like, here's what you got to watch for. And then I want to do one on machines again, what I'm calling bells, whistles, and built-in clocks. Which is basically the shitification of sewing machines as the industry matured. So those are some things that caught my attention of what I'd like. Do you got anything that you want to add to the list?
Oh, I want to get way more into how fabric is made from the ground up, just textiles, just so much more about textile stuff.
Okay.
I definitely want to do like 1 or 2, not frivolous movies, but like fiction movies that like really strongly feature sewing machines. I think that'd be fun.
The Barbie movie has them.
Right, the Barbie movie. There's that one, The Dressmaker. Like
yes.
there's some movies that really feature sewing heavily that I think could be fun.
Yes,
to
that's
talk
how
about.
That's that Patsy Cline episode we did. I based a lot of that on the movie, so you could actually go watch it. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I feel like I had some other ideas, but I do not have my notepad to hand, so I've already forgotten what they were.
But that's okay. That's a couple dozen things right there.
Yeah, there's just endless rabbit holes, endless rabbit holes. Oh, and I do know we're gonna try to go over and interview Mike from Stagecoach Vintage Sewing Machine, who do repairs and restorations.
Right.
We're gonna go talk to him and actually do a field trip to his place. That's gonna happen.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
I have been informed by my mother-in-law that I will be receiving a very nice unused embroidery machine.
Oh my.
I have been informed that this is coming my way. It's, a acquisition from a hoard. So that might be a thing I can report on at some point. A schmancy embroidery machine entering the chat. That's entirely possible.
Wow, that'll be fun.
Yeah. I know that I have multiple people who are interested in doing projects on my Davis. So,
nice.
If and when the ducks get organized to actually follow through with all of those fun plans, I will definitely be reporting on how having the Davis is working out as hey, I'm the person with the cool machine. Yeah. I will be reporting on that if and when it happens, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. It's when I come back over next summer to hang out there. It's like, let's build another Davis. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to more and more sewing projects. We'll see if my motivation reaches escape velocity. But I have a lot of invigorated project ideas. That,
cool.
If I have cool stuff to report to you, I will certainly be reporting it on air. So that way our audience can share in my dopamine.
Oh, yeah. Feel my joy. Look at,
Right.
It's funny. Sewing is such a visual thing. And here we are doing an audio-only podcast. And it's even weirder now that we're available on YouTube. Like, you don't get to see us talking. You just get to see our cool logo. But people are consuming our content over there as well.
That's
There's
a trip.
57 watches on that one, and it's only been up 2 weeks. That's pretty cool. So there's dozens of you out there. I'm so excited.
You're not alone. You have at least a dozen compatriots in this fandom.
Okay, all you folks out there, put down your needles and listen to me. Write to us at used2sew, that's the number 2, at gmail.com and tell us what you want to hear. What do you want to hear about? Tell us about your sewing machines. Tell us about where you found them. Tell us about the ones you want to find. Share some stuff with us. Give us some seeds for episodes because This kind of just feels like a big sewing room. I can kind of picture y'all out there. Everybody's like stitching on stuff or just sort of sitting there in front of their machine, smoking a ciggy and staring out the window. Oh, yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, definitely. And so coming up over the next little while between here, when this episode comes out and when season 3 starts, are we going to be going off air entirely, or are we going to do some rewinds? I know I'm the producer, but I feel like you're the one that told me what the plan is.
Yeah, I don't ever want to leave you folks with a Sunday morning and no Used to Sew to listen to, because I know you can listen to it anytime you want, but I always think of it as, oh, Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, let's have coffee and listen to Used to Sew. So I do want to do some rewinds of some of our, especially this really early one that I think is so important, and it was really long. It was the fast fashion and planned obsolescence. And that one wound up being over an hour. So I think I want you to divide that one in two.
Okay. Give it a new in-out bumper.
Give it a new in-out bumper. We're going to have to listen to it. I'm going to listen to it again too. But I want to represent that one, because that was one of our foundations. Planned obsolescence applies, of course, to the machinery, and then fast fashion is planned obsolescence applying to clothes. So that was a really, really important one. Also, so this is going to be taking us through December. Put that one, and then put in the Christmas Eve story, and then put in the Boxing Day story. I think that'll get us through December.
All right.
And then we'll be back, because, I'm an American, and Christmas seeps into my life, whether I want it to or not. And it's just this month, December, coming up here is like we've got friends in the hospital, we've got holidays, we've got lots of things going on. I'm going to be retreating into my sewing nook with my VS3 and just hand cranking. I might not even put thread in it. Whatever you all have to do to survive the dark time in the Northern Hemisphere. Maybe we should all go to Australia for holidays.
Chase the summer.
Looking at Bondi Beach, and there's like Santa Clauses out there surfing. That looks pretty fun.
Yeah, we were just taking some friends into Eugene to put them on the train to go back to Portland. And driving home, I was like, it's so dark so early. And then I looked at the date and I was like, oh, because we are less than a month away from winter solstice.
Oh my gosh, I know.
It's, it was the 24th yesterday of November, and the solstice is the 21st of December. I was like, well, okay, so the oppressive amount of darkness is appropriate. I'll be about completely bonkers in another month, and then the sun will turn around. Cool, good to know. But we are on schedule, as per usual.
As per usual. The sunset goes down over the horizon here. Well, when I was in Christmas Valley, which actually has a horizon, you pretty much every day it's counting back a few. Oh, crap! Yep. 4:38. No.
Yeah, we're entering the darkest dark at this point. I like to, as I go through the season, kind of the brightest bright and the darkest dark, and sort of understanding like where in the window I'm at. It's like, okay, we are less than 4 weeks from the darkest dark, so we are really getting into that nadir of the sine wave pattern is winter and summer.
Yeah. So this is why I like Christmas. You know what I like about Christmas? All the
Christmas
lights, and I love old Christmas music, the old stuff, not Mariah Carey and all that, but like, that kind of stuff, and violins, and the food. I love fruitcake. Yes, I said that. I love fruitcake. But mostly the lights.
Well, I like making pumpkin pie from scratch. That's what I do.
And you do good. And I might even try to get some sewn little fun things to hand out going here. I say that every year. Oh, I'm going to make 57 of this cute little sewn thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. Me too.
So for those of you who have holiday sewing to do, get off the computer and go fire up that sewing machine.
Get threaded.
Stay threaded. Bye.
And there you have it, the final episode of Season 2 of Used to Sew. We talked about what has happened in our lives over the last year, what topics we've covered, what we've learned, and what we're looking forward to learning and expanding on next year with Season 3. I enjoy taking these breaks to zoom out and look at what I've created over time. As a podcast producer, it can be easy to just make content every week and not appreciate how much it is piling up over the months and years. I actually will be installing a new hard drive in my computer this weekend just to handle all the data storage that this hobby entails. It really is amazing how deeply into any topic a determined info spelunker can go, and we are so glad that you want to join us on this journey. Do please write to us with any ideas or feedback on what you've been enjoying or want to hear more of. Enjoy the next month of Selected Rewinds, and catch us back here on this feed for a whole new season of sewing machine nerdery in 2026. As a reminder, we are unofficially sponsored by Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, who do repairs and restorations. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and you can support us by sharing the podcast with your friends and also with money at patreon.com/used2sew. Thank you for listening to us here at Used to Sew. We always welcome your additions, corrections, and feedback in general. Please reach out to us via email at usedtosew@gmail.com. Used to Sew is a production of Fox and Raven Media. For more podcasts from Fox and Raven Media, visit our website at foxandravenmedia.com.